You're now watching The Wash Daily. Today in news, High Times is covering Matt Gaetz' announcement that we need to stop doing drug tests for cannabis on the military folks. What he's saying is we're down enlistment and people who are in the military keep getting in trouble for having cannabis in their urine test. And the big problem with the urine test is they're not very specific. They have about a 30-day long window where somebody who, if they've had any sort of cannabis or CBD, they can actually get in trouble and lose their job. Whereas someone who's using cocaine or alcohol all the time, those things wouldn't be found in the P test. And what they're saying is the urine test is actually not a useful instrument, and that it's very unfair because it's only testing really for people who are using cannabis. Hard drugs like cocaine and heroin and alcohol, they don't stay in your blood for very long, whereas the cannabis seems to linger on for a long time. So it's not really a fair test of if somebody's recently been on drugs. Also in news, Missouri recently passed legal cannabis. What they're looking at is allowing the banks to work with the cannabis companies without being in jeopardy of being in trouble for RICO charges with the federal government. The problem has been that banks who work with facilities that operate in cannabis, which is federally prohibited, run the risk of breaking federal law and then being charged with federal crimes around drugs. Banks aren't allowed to work with any company who sells Class 1 or Class 2 substances. In this case, that would be like cocaine or cannabis. And what they're saying is cannabis businesses who are using cash run the risk of not allowing the federal government or the state government to really see where their dollars are going, and they may be evading taxation, which is theft. Also, in Missouri, part of the bill requires anyone working with or volunteering for a cannabis operation or working in cannabis to have their fingerprints taken. Many feel this is a violation of rights and an overreach by the government against personal privacy. Fingerprinting is going to be required for anybody working in Missouri cannabis. What they're saying is anyone who's volunteering or working for part of the medicinal cannabis program is going to have their fingerprints taken. Folks who object to this ruling say that that's an egregious overstep by the government and an attack on personal privacy. Also in news, the FDA and FCC have issued warning letters to companies who are involved in Delta 8. Well, oftentimes those products have graphics which allude to an existing product, and what they're saying at the FDA is that's a very dangerous thing to do because children might see the product that looks like a product they're used to, not realizing that it's a cannabis product, and they don't want the children to have any cannabis. They also think some adults may not know when they're eating cannabis products that those products are cannabis, and they may decide to eat the entire bag of Nerd Robes, thinking they're just Nerd Robes full of dangerous fake sugar. Thanks for watching The Wash Daily.